I now have the privilege of calling upon Joshua Brian Warshawski to speak and direct the next
Chancellor Eisen, Chairman of the Board Cohen, Provost Cooper, Dean Schwartz, Congressman Lewis, members of the faculty, Kvod HaRabbanim, users of Venmo, family, and friends. Thank you so much for joining us here today as we reach this incredible milestone in our lives. We're so happy that you're here with us. Commencement addresses are about reflection. They are supposed to take us through the path of our years in college and attempt to provide some sort of advice on how to get where we should be going. The path each List College student takes is entirely unique. At JTS, I majored in Talmud and Rabbinics, and at Columbia, I majored in religion. So obviously I'm going to be a civil engineer. In one class, we spent a few weeks studying Sufi mysticism, which elaborates on the soul's quest for God. One text describes 7 valleys through which a pilgrim must journey in order to encounter God. The author writes, "Here every pilgrim takes a different way, and different spirits, different rules obey. Each soul and body has its level here and climbs or falls within its proper sphere. There are so many roads, and each is fit for that one pilgrim who must follow it." It is as if the Sufi mystics were talking about List College. Rather than trying to have a typical college experience, we tend to forge our own paths. We majored in psychology, linguistics, religion, music, history, pre-med and the sciences, as well as women and gender studies, Bible, Talmud, philosophy, modern Jewish studies, and more. My classmates and friends have led student groups on campus, ranging from the student newspaper, to Hillel and Israel advocacy groups, to the ultimate frisbee team, to the knitting club. In the admissions office at List, we say that if you're looking to get involved in any club on Columbia or Barnard's campus, there is definitely a List College student in that club already, and most likely there's a List College student running it. The class of 2013 has also taken advantage of all that New York City has to offer. We've worked and interned at Inside New York, UJA Federation, multi-million-dollar corporations, Hebrew schools, small startups, law firms, politicians' offices, and more. As you can probably tell, List College students are busy. We work around the clock, but we figured out how to manage our schoolwork and our organizations. We make time for our friends and our family, and we definitely make time to have fun. But most importantly, we have figured out how to live as educated Jews in a secular world. We have chosen to take 4 or 4.5 or 5 years of our lives immersed in Jewish studies. We've elected to spend our college years in a real Makom Kadosh, where Torah is learned, discussed, argued, and lived. After 4 years here, with these incredibly diverse List College students, I'm left with a real hope for the future of Judaism and Jewish life in America. Last Friday night, we held our last Kabbalat Shabbat services before graduation. Together, we have built a Jewish community here, a living Jewish community. In the midst of all of our activities and classes, so many of us chose week after week to gather together and celebrate Shabbat. We created a moment in time each week where nothing else mattered but being together, singing, praying, celebrating, and of course eating. This community is one that we can never take for granted, for it is unlike anything that is waiting for us out in the Jewish world today. In this week's Parsha, V'halotcha, we find the people of Israel wandering through the desert. As usual, they're complaining bitterly. Moses is distraught at the end of his wits. He cries out to God and asks why the burden of the entire people was placed solely on his shoulders. God tells Moses to gather 70 elders, and when Moses does so, the text says, "Vayatzel min haruach asher alav, vayiten al shivim ish hazkenim, vayihi kenoach alehem haruach, vayitnahu v'lo yasafu." And God drew upon the spirit that was on Moses, and put it upon the 70 elders. And when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied, v'lo yasafu. There are 2 ways to translate v'lo yasafu. Rashi translates it as, they did not continue, they prophesied on that day only. The Targum Onkelos, on the other hand, says, and their prophetic powers remained, that they continued to wisely utilize God's Spirit. Class of 2013, we are like those elders. We have argued, and we have definitely complained. Our faith has been questioned, and now here we are faced with the choice of what to do with our experiences. We must not cease our journey today, rather we must choose to wisely utilize all that we have learned during our years at List. We have been fortunate to study at one of the best secular liberal arts institutions, and at the same time to study Jewish text, our heritage and tradition at the most advanced academic Jewish institution in the country. We have learned from incredible faculty members who are experts in their fields, and we have gained the tools to achieve great things in the Jewish world and beyond. As we go our separate ways, We must take what we have learned at Columbia, Barnard, and JTS and use these experiences to not only enhance our own lives, but also to enrich the lives of those we meet in the future. And we must strive to continue the tradition of the Jewish people that we have learned and questioned over the last 4 years. So wherever you go, take what we have learned and build a community of your own. Take time to spend Shabbat and holidays with family and friends. Continue to struggle with your beliefs and ideas and ask difficult questions. Don't forget the power of song, of prayer, of discourse, and the strength that lies in community. As the Sufi poet Farid Attar wrote, our pathways differ. No soul ever knows the secret route by which another goes. No matter where your path may take you, I wish you all the best of success, and may you always go from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh. Congratulations.